planning ahead for our own care as we age, or making sure our parents and grandparents are all set for the potential need for long-term care is essential. That process can sometimes be confusing, though. Estate planning, also something many of us put off, not wanting to think about the final stage of life. So today, our expert and sponsor of this segment, David Carrier, joins us to talk about how his team can help.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, we were just talking about it because we know that there have been so many changes that the field that already seemed complicated has gotten even more complex.
Right. You know, we've been at this for now for 31 years, okay? And so we've seen some changes that we thought were coming. You know, and you say, well, that'll work out over the next, 10 or 15 years or so. And what COVID did was it took 10 years. We're there now. I mean, it took 18 months, squashed it all together. And what you're seeing, I mean, the government says you have a 70% chance of needing skilled care, average of 3 years, 20% of folks 5 years or more. And, we've always been focused on that. Most estate planning is really about what happens when you die. What we do is what happens while you're still alive.
Right, and I know that for a lot of people,
Yep.
long-term care, skilled nursing, those sorts of things, people try to put that off as long as possible and maybe hiring someone to come into the home and help out, and that's becoming a more difficult option.
Almost impossible. It used to be for $10 you could get the neighbor lady, the friend from church, $15 go to a service and get a certified nursing assistant, $25 for an RN. You can't get an RN anymore. The CNAs are $25 an hour if you can get them, if they show up. It's just, and the neighbor lady is gone. I mean, she's not even around anymore. So, as you know, we've always focused on getting people qualified for the Medicaid without going broke. Medicaid, for some people, it's a scary word. It's whatever. Hey, listen, we are past the point where you can be squeamish about this stuff. You have to face it. You have to deal with it because the other options are gone. It's not 7 years from now. It's not 3 years from now. It's now. It's happening. And the worst part about this, most scary part to me, is the collapse of, you don't want to say the collapse of the profession because nurses are essential, nurses are critical, right? But we've gone from, I mean, you talk to nurses, they are desperate. The wages are way up. I mean, $600 bonus for a nurse to show up on the weekends.
Right.
And they're promised an 8-hour shift. They're not taking it. They won't take the double time. They won't take the bonus on top of the double time because they know if they show up for 8 hours, it really means 12. And it's not 8 patients or 12 patients, it's 20 patients. And it's heart-rending. My mom was a nurse, my wife is a nurse, daughter's a nurse, my older sister's a nurse. I'm surrounded by RNs.
Right, yeah, people go into the profession, they have a heart for taking care of people.
They really do.
The heart of a servant. So let's talk about qualifying people for Medicaid then.
So here's how it works. This is you. Hello. This is you. And right now you've got stuff. This is your stuff. Go to the supermarket, right, without a cart. You get a bunch of stuff. Well, we were always worried about what happens if you become disabled and now the probate court gets your stuff. And then, of course, you got to worry about hourly bill, the probate attorney, and estate recovery. Well, the thing is, these guys are now way in the background, and estate recovery, Medicaid, long-term care is now right up front and center. The only thing you can do, what you have to do, and this is my opinion, is you take your stuff, you put it in the trust that can't be attacked by the Medicaid, that the long-term care, at least you can protect it, and look, you're still going to need long-term care, 70% of folks, okay? If you're age 65, federal government says 70%. Okay, I don't argue with that.
Right. So you have a bunch of workshops that you offer.
That's right.
And are you offering those now in person to people?
Yeah.
Or virtually also? And what do people, how does it look like? What do people learn and gain from going to the workshop?
So what we have now, we're doing the live workshops again. We're doing the oatmeal raisin cookies again. Thank God. It was so difficult when all you could do was talk to people through the interwebs.
Right.
But now we're doing it live and in person. And what you're going to find out is just exactly the mistakes that are being made. I mean, everybody's, when they do estate planning, and I mean attorneys, financial advisors, They're all focused on what happens when you die.
Right.
But what happens to the leftovers.
Right, but people who are still living and may need that care, they need it for their spouse, their parent, their grandparents. And so I know that we're counting down. November is right around the corner. Is this a good time of the year for people to really sit down with their family members and start thinking about this?
You know, the busiest time that we have is this Thanksgiving, Christmas time, because people are focusing more on their families. It is getting to be winter, that, you know, the atmospherics kind of remind you of end days and all that. And so it is so important, and we'd love to see the family members come to the workshops. We really have made an effort in, you know, to be sanitized and all that, not just that, but also the online stuff that we're doing. I don't think that's ever going to go away. But what you learn is how to protect yourself, how to protect your family, and it's really for middle-class folks. This is not a wealth preservation thing. This is an options preservation thing, because as I say, as the cost of the nursing goes through the roof, you have got to hang on to what you've got. You know, you can't. Back in the day, you could kid yourself, "Hey, it'll be okay." That has passed. It doesn't work that way anymore.
Right. People need to make a plan and plan to not outlive their resources.
Yes.
That's the idea.
Yep.
And, of course, we'll have all that information available on our website to connect with you and your team. Thanks, David, for stopping by this segment. Sponsored by the law offices of David Carrier. We'll be right back with more 8 West. Don't go away.